Welcome to another episode of The Science of Ageless Living, where we dive deep into the secrets of extending your health span and living vibrantly at any age. I'm your host, Dr. Ethan Hausman-Marquise, and today we're exploring a topic that's as fundamental as it is overlooked in the world of longevity. This is episode The Silent Elixir, Why Sleep Trumps Peptides and Stem Cells in the Ageless Quest for Longevity. Before we jump in, let me set the scene for you listeners. Imagine you're cozied up in your favorite chair, maybe with a warm blanket and some chamomile tea, because what we're talking about today is all about rest. Glorious, life-extending rest. In a world that's constantly buzzing with notifications, deadlines, and the latest anti-aging fads, it's easy to overlook the simplest, most powerful tool we have for turning back the clock. But trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll be rethinking your bedtime routine and maybe even canceling that appointment at the fancy clinic. We'll unpack the hype around cutting-edge treatments, dive into the robust science behind everyday habits, and arm you with practical, actionable steps to make sleep your ultimate longevity hack. We'll explore real-world examples, bust some myths, and even touch on how societal shifts could make rest a priority for everyone. So, settle in. This is going to be a deep, comprehensive dive, and I promise it'll leave you inspired to hit the hay earlier tonight. Picture this, listeners. Settle in, maybe grab a cup of herbal tea, because we're about to embark on a journey through the labyrinth of longevity. We're living in an era obsessed with defying age, where the quest for youth has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Billions are poured into biotech labs every year, funding everything from gene editing to AI-driven drug discovery. Influencers hawk miracle serums on social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok with perfectly filtered videos promising radiant skin and boundless energy. And high-end clinics from the sun-soaked shores of Miami to the innovative hubs in Silicon Valley promise to rewind your biological clock with a single injection or treatment. It's seductive, isn't it? The idea that science has finally cracked the code to eternal youth, all wrapped up in a shiny, high-tech package that feels like something out of a futuristic novel. We see headlines about billionaires like Jeff Bezos or Peter Thiel investing in anti-aging startups, and it makes us wonder, could this be the breakthrough we've all been waiting for? But amidst all this noise, this cacophony of promises, breakthroughs, and celebrity endorsements, there's a profound truth that's been whispering to us since the dawn of humanity, a truth that's as old as our species itself and rooted in our evolutionary biology. The real cure to aging isn't in a vial or a petri dish. It's not something you buy, inject, or subscribe to. It's in your bed. It's sleep. Proper, restorative sleep. And today, we're going to explore why sleep outshines the flashiest anti-aging trends like peptides and stem cells, with a focus on evidence-based insights that cut through the marketing fluff. Let me paint a more vivid picture for you to really drive this home, because storytelling helps these concepts stick. Picture this. A 50-year-old executive, let's call him John, stressed out from back-to-back Zoom meetings that stretch from dawn till dusk, scrolling through TikTok at midnight in his dimly lit bedroom. His eyes are bleary from staring at screens all day, but he can't look away. The algorithm knows him too well. Suddenly, an ad pops up for peptides, these tiny protein fragments that supposedly erase wrinkles overnight, supercharge your cells with energy, and make you feel like you're 30 again, ready to conquer the world. Peptides changed my life, the influencer beams, showing before and after photos that look too good to be true, with smooth skin and a chiseled jawline that screams youth. Then another ad rolls in, stem cells, harvested from your own body or premium donors in state-of-the-art labs, injected to regenerate tissues like some sci-fi regeneration chamber from a Star Trek episode, promising to heal joints, boost cognition, and turn back time. This is it, John thinks, his heart racing with hope and a touch of desperation. The cure to aging, finally a way to beat the clock and keep up with the demands of my career. He pulls out his credit card right there in bed, books a flight to a high-end clinic in Colombia or Miami, places known for cutting-edge, sometimes unregulated treatments, and drops thousands on procedures that promise the world, complete with luxury recovery suites and personalized follow-ups. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to him, He's been averaging just 5 hours of fractured sleep a night, interrupted by pinging emails, racing thoughts about tomorrow's deadlines, and the glow of his phone, all fueled by endless cups of coffee and sheer ambition that masks his exhaustion. Sound familiar? Maybe it's not you, but it's the story of so many today. Ambitious professionals climbing the corporate ladder, parents juggling kids and careers with zero downtime, or even retirees chasing that elusive fountain of youth through exotic therapies. But folks, it's a tragic misdirection, a classic case of missing the forest for the trees in our fast-paced society. Many people, putants, as some might typo in their frantic late-night Google searches while battling insomnia, think peptides and stem cells are the silver bullet for longevity. They chase these high-tech solutions with fervor, often at great personal and financial cost. But in fact, it's sleep, proper sleep. That's the real game changer, the foundational pillar that supports everything else. Let me break this down for you step by step with the cold, hard science to back it up, because on this podcast, we don't do fluff. We do facts drawn from peer-reviewed studies and real-world observations. First, let's address the elephant in the room, the hype around peptides and stem cells. I want to spend some time here because understanding the allure, the psychological pull of these treatments is key to appreciating why sleep reigns supreme as a more accessible, effective alternative. Peptides are essentially short chains of amino acids, like mini proteins that act as messengers in your body, signaling pathways that have been studied for decades in biochemistry. They tell your cells to do specific things, like ramp collagen production to smooth out those fine lines that creep up with age, or regulate hormones to boost energy and vitality. In the anti-aging world, they're touted for everything under the sun, from muscle growth and fat loss to skin rejuvenation and even cognitive enhancement, with claims that they can mimic the effects of human growth hormone without the side effects. You've got popular ones like BPC 157, which is marketed for rapid recovery from injuries, appealing to athletes and weekend warriors alike, CJC 1295, which supposedly spikes growth hormone levels to mimic youthful vitality and improve sleep, ironically, as we'll see later, or copper peptides, those blue-tinted serums that promise a youthful glow by fighting free radicals and promoting wound healing. Clinics and med spas across the U.S., from the glitzy streets of Beverly Hills to the bustling avenues of New York City, are injecting them left and right, promising weight loss, anti-aging miracles, and rapid healing that sounds almost too good to be true, often bundled with other services like IV drips or laser treatments. But is it miracle science, or just clever marketing amplified by social media algorithms that prey on our insecurities? Let's peel back the layers and examine this critically. According to recent articles in major outlets like the New York Times, peptides are being sold as the ultimate fix for younger skin, bigger muscles, and even longer life. But the question remains, are they really a miracle cure, or are we buying into a well-crafted narrative? These pieces dive into the buzz, noting that while some peptides show promise in clinical trials for specific conditions, like treating digestive issues such as IBS, or aiding in short-term recovery from surgeries and injuries, the broader claims for longevity are largely unproven, lacking the large-scale, long-term, randomized, controlled trials that gold standard medicine demands. We're talking about studies that are often small scale, with sample sizes in the dozens rather than thousands, preliminary in nature, or funded by the very companies selling these products, which introduces potential bias. Side effects? Oh, they're there, and they're not trivial. Digestive upset like nausea, bloating, and diarrhea. Risks from improper injections, such as infections, scarring, or allergic reactions. And long-term unknowns that could include hormonal imbalances, dependency, or even increase cancer risks if growth factors go awry and promote uncontrolled cell proliferation. A Substack piece from earlier this year calls it the peptide craze, pointing out how promotions for youth repair and anti-aging flood our feeds without adequate data to support them, often relying on testimonials rather than rigorous evidence. On X, formerly Twitter, users echo this skepticism in real-time discussions. One post from a peptide WebMD account warns that while peptides like tesamorelin are hyped for anti-aging and fat reduction, it's worth questioning if they're miracle or myth, especially given the lack of FDA approval for most longevity uses outside of niche medical applications. Another from TRT Columbia, a clinic specializing in hormone therapies, asks outright, are peptide injections dangerous amid the growing hype, highlighting cases of adverse events reported in online forums, even beauty reviewers on X-hype copper peptides for skin benefits, but they admit it's part of a broader trend driven more by anecdotal glow-ups and viral challenges than rock-solid reproducible science from independent labs. Now let's shift to stem cells, the darlings of regenerative medicine, often positioned as the holy grail of anti-aging in conferences and TED Talks alike. These are the body's master cells, undifferentiated powerhouses capable of turning into any tissue type, from muscle to nerve to bone, a concept that stems from embryonic development research dating back to the 1980s. The pitch is irresistible. Inject them, whether autologous, harvested from your own fat or bone marrow in a minimally invasive procedure, or allogeneic from carefully screened donors, and they'll repair damaged organs, reverse cellular decline, and make you feel 20 again with claims of improved mobility, sharper memory, and even enhanced libido. Clinics promise anti-aging breakthroughs, with some boldly claiming stem cell therapy could add decades to your life by rejuvenating everything from your joints to your brain, often marketed as part of biohacking packages for the elite. A 2025 YouTube video even lists stem cells among 7 real innovations to stop us growing old, featuring glossy animations of cells multiplying like magic in a petri dish, complete with testimonials from satisfied patients. But let's separate hype from reality, because this is where things get murky, and it's important to approach with a critical eye informed by ethics and evidence. A scoping review on stem cell therapy for anti-aging, published in reputable journals, acknowledges some potential, noting that single stem cell transplants could, in theory, regenerate tissues and combat age-related degeneration by repopulating depleted cell pools. Yet articles like Stem Cells in Anti-Aging Therapies, Hope or Hype, warn that much of the excitement is driven by hype, with treatments still largely experimental and riddled with safety concerns, including the risk of tumors if cells divide uncontrollably, a phenomenon known as teratoma formation, immune rejection in allogeneic cases leading to inflammation or failure, or even ethical issues around sourcing. Stat News in September 2025 called out snake oil in longevity research, stating there's no proven safe way to reverse the natural stem cell decline with injections. Our stem cell pools naturally dwindle with age due to environmental factors and telomere attrition, and topping them up isn't as simple as refilling a gas tank. It requires precise integration into existing tissues. Predictions for 2025 from the Niche blog, a respected stem cell resource run by experts in the field, discuss innovative research, but emphasize it's not ready for prime time. Biotechs are advancing with trials for specific diseases like Parkinson's or heart failure, but broad anti-aging applications are years, if not decades, away, pending regulatory hurdles and more data. A Facebook post from the Longevity Science Foundation in July 2025 sums it up perfectly. Hype versus reality. In regenerative therapies, urging caution amid the flood of unverified claims from overseas clinics that operate in gray areas of regulation. Don't get me wrong, these technologies are exciting and hold real promise for the future of medicine, potentially revolutionizing how we treat chronic conditions. Peptides have shown in controlled studies to stimulate collagen production and reduce wrinkles in topical applications, offering cosmetic benefits that can make you look younger on the surface and boost confidence. Stem cells might one day delay aging by rejuvenating tissues in targeted ways, perhaps treating age-related macular degeneration or osteoarthritis with precision therapies. But right now, they're not the cure-all they're cracked up to be. They're Band-Aids, often expensive ones, costing thousands per session or more for ongoing treatments, with risks that outweigh benefits for most people, chasing symptoms like sagging skin or low energy while ignoring the root causes of aging, such as chronic inflammation and cellular senescence. And here's where we pivot to the heart of today's episode. The real root: sleep. Proper sleep is the unsung hero of longevity, and science proves it time and again in ways that make peptides and stem cells look like sideshows in the grand theater of human health. Think about it. Sleep isn't just downtime or a break from the hustle. It's when your body does its most critical rebuild work, a process honed over millions of years of evolution. During those precious hours of shut-eye, your cells repair DNA damage accumulated from daily stressors like UV radiation, environmental pollutants, or even emotional strain, preventing mutations that could lead to disease. Your brain flushes out toxins through the glymphatic system, a waste clearance pathway that's most active at night, acting like a nocturnal janitor for your mind. And your hormones reset to keep everything in balance, from appetite regulators like leptin to stress modulators like cortisol. Let's look at some compelling evidence to illustrate this. A 2024 Mayo Clinic study of over 172,000 adults, one of the largest of its kind, found that men who get adequate sleep, typically 7 to 9 hours of quality rest, live about 5 years longer than those who chronically skimp on it, with benefits seen across diverse demographics. Women? They gain around 2 years on average, highlighting gender differences in sleep needs. That's not trivial. That's game-changing, equivalent to the lifespan extension from quitting smoking, adopting a Mediterranean diet, or engaging in regular exercise. And it's not just about duration. Regularity matters more than you might think, as our bodies thrive on predictability. A 2024 study in the Sleep Journal showed that consistent sleep patterns, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, including weekends, predict lower mortality risk better than just hitting 7 hours sporadically, reducing the odds of cardiovascular death by up to 30%. Poor sleep, it shortens telomeres, those protective chromosome caps that dictate cellular aging, like the plastic tips on shoelaces that prevent fraying, leading to a 12-15% higher mortality risk in large meta-analyses, pooling data from hundreds of thousands of participants across continents. Let's dive deeper into the biology, because this is fascinating stuff that ties directly into why sleep is superior to injected fixes. In the deep sleep stage, also known as slow-wave sleep, growth hormone surges through your system in pulses, fixing tissues, building muscle mass, and combating oxidative stress. The rust that ages us from the inside out by damaging cells, proteins, and DNA, accelerating inflammation and disease. This hormone release is natural and calibrated, unlike synthetic mimics and peptides that can overshoot and cause imbalances. REM sleep, the dream-filled phase where your eyes dart rapidly under closed lids, clears beta amyloid plaques from your brain, those sticky proteins that build up over time and contribute to Alzheimer's disease, potentially reducing risk by as much as 50% with consistent quality rest. Disrupt this natural cycle with late nights binging Netflix, blue light from screens suppressing melatonin, or chronic stress keeping you wired, and you spike inflammation markers like C-reactive protein, insulin resistance that leads to type 2 diabetes, and heart disease risks that compound over time, creating a vicious cycle of poor health. The American Heart Association links optimal sleep to a 20% drop in cardiovascular events, from heart attacks to strokes, based on data from millions. Even your immunity takes a massive hit. Just one bad night can slash natural killer cell activity by 70%, making you more susceptible to infections, viruses, and potentially even cancer, as these cells are frontline defenders against abnormal growths. And let's not forget the blue zones, those remarkable pockets of centenarians in places like Okinawa, Japan, or Sardinia, Italy, where sleep is sacred, 7-8 hours nightly, often supplemented with afternoon siestas of 20-30 minutes, all aligned to natural circadian rhythms dictated by sunrise and sunset without the aid of gadgets or pills. These people aren't popping peptides or getting stem cell infusions. They're living simply with rest as a cornerstone alongside diet, community, and movement. Now contrast that with the peptide and stem cell chasers we talked about earlier. They're spending fortunes, sometimes tens of thousands, on a single course of treatment, plus travel and follow-ups, on unproven tweaks that might offer temporary boosts in appearance or energy. But if their sleep is trash, it's like polishing a car with a rusted engine under the hood. The rust keeps spreading, corroding the foundation, no matter how shiny the exterior looks in selfies. Chronic insomnia, which affects about 30% of adults worldwide, according to WHO data, doubles your dementia risk and hikes early death by 27%, according to cohort studies tracking people over decades, from youth to old age. Sleep apnea, that common disorder where breathing stops and starts repeatedly, shaves 5-10 years off life via chronic heart strain, oxygen deprivation, and resultant hypertension, often undiagnosed until it's too late. Shift workers, with their disrupted circadian rhythms from night shifts or irregular schedules in industries like healthcare or tech, age faster at a cellular level, mimicking the telomere shortening and epigenetic changes seen in much older individuals, with higher rates of obesity, depression, and cancer. Yet a massive UK biobank study of 500,000 people, one of the most comprehensive datasets available, found that elite sleepers, those who nail quality metrics like duration, regularity, and minimal disturbances, live 4 to 5 years longer on average, with better quality of life in those extra years. Animal studies back this up dramatically. Sleep-deprived mice develop wrinkled skin, organ decline, cognitive impairments, and even altered gene expression faster than their well-rested counterparts, essentially fast-forwarding the aging process in a lab setting that mirrors human physiology. But why do we ignore sleep in favor of these flashy alternatives? It's a question I've pondered a lot on this podcast, and it boils down to a mix of cultural, economic, and psychological factors. Sleep is free, accessible to everyone regardless of income, and frankly, unsexy in a world that values quick fixes, visible results, and commodifiable solutions. There's no influencer sponsorship for nap therapy or viral TikToks showing before and after siestas with dramatic music. It doesn't sell products or generate clicks as easily as a peptide unboxing video. Our society glorifies hustle culture, with mantras like sleep when you're dead perpetuated by tech moguls and productivity gurus, ignoring the irony the poor sleep hastens that death. We chase the shiny objects, peptides for those instant energy boosts or skin tightening effects that show up in the mirror quickly, stem cells for the promise of regeneration that sounds like science fiction come true and appeals to our desire for control over biology. But sleep is the foundation upon which all other longevity strategies are built, the bedrock that amplifies everything else. It regulates the endocrine system, your entire hormonal orchestra, better than any peptide mimic could dream of, with natural precision. Cortisol, the stress hormone, drops to healthy levels during restful nights. Melatonin, the sleep regulator and potent antioxidant that fights free radicals, rises in darkness. Thyroid function balances out to keep metabolism humming efficiently without artificial stimulation. Miss out on it consistently, and you're plunged into endocrine chaos with cascading effects that accelerate aging from the inside out, higher inflammation, impaired cellular repair, weakened immune response, and even altered gut microbiome, which influences everything from mood to immunity. So, how do we harness this silent elixir in our daily lives? I'm glad you asked, because practical advice is what the science of ageless living is all about. We're not just here to inform, but to empower you with tools you can implement today. First and foremost, aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep nightly, tailored to your age and needs. Most adults thrive in that range, but teens need more, and older adults might function on slightly less if it's high quality. Listen to your body signals, like natural drowsiness, rather than forcing a rigid schedule. Consistency is key. Stick to the same bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends, to sync your internal clock with the 24-hour day, reducing social jet lag that mimics travel fatigue. Your environment matters hugely. Create a sleep sanctuary that's cool, around 60-67 degrees Fahrenheit, to promote thermoregulation. Dark. Use blackout curtains or eye masks to block streetlights. And quiet, white noise machines or earplugs can help drown out urban disturbances or a snoring partner. Taiwan. No screens an hour before bed. The blue light suppresses melatonin production more than you realize, tricking your brain into thinking it's daytime. Opt for dim, warm lighting instead. Diet plays a role too. Opt for light evening meals with complex carbs, like whole grains or bananas, to boost serotonin. Avoid heavier, spicy foods that can cause indigestion and reflux, and cut off caffeine by noon. Its half-life means it lingers in your system for up to 8 hours, keeping you wired. Alcohol might make you drowsy initially, but it fragments sleep later, so limit it to earlier in the evening, if at all. Exercise is a sleep booster, but time it right. Morning workouts or early afternoon sessions, like a brisk walk or yoga, deepen sleep stages by increasing adenosine buildup, while late-night gym sessions can rev you up too much with adrenaline. For tracking and optimization, consider wearables like an Oura Ring, Fitbit, or Apple Watch. They monitor heart rate variability, HRV, a key marker of autonomic nervous system balance, and overall resilience against aging stressors, giving you data to tweak habits. Apps can log sleep cycles, but don't obsess. Use them as guides. If sleep issues persist, and they do for many, from anxiety to medical conditions, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, is the gold standard, outperforming sleeping pills in long-term studies without the dependency risks or groggy mornings. It's available via apps like Sleepio or Therapists. Supplements like magnesium glycinate, 300-400 milligrams before bed, can help relax muscles and promote GABA activity for calmer nights, or valerian root for mild sedation, but they're secondary to lifestyle changes. Always consult a doctor before starting, especially if you're on medications. And don't overlook the power of winding down rituals. A warm bath with Epsom salts to raise and then drop body temperature, reading a physical book under soft light to engage the mind gently, or gentle stretching like child's pose to release tension. These signal to your body that it's time to shift gears from go to rest, training your nervous system over time. Let's take a moment to explore some listener-inspired scenarios, because I get emails about this all the time. Say you're a busy parent. How do you prioritize sleep with kids waking up at odd hours? Start with co-sleeping boundaries if needed, or tag team with a partner for night duties, and sneak in power naps during the day to accumulate rest. Or, if you're a shift worker, use blackout blinds for daytime sleep and melatonin supplements under medical guidance to reset your clock. These real-life applications show sleep is adaptable, not rigid.
Imagine a world where we prioritize sleep over hype, a society where workplaces encourage nap pods instead of all-nighters, boosting productivity as companies like Google have found, where schools teach kids about circadian health alongside math, fostering lifelong habits, and where longevity clinics focus on optimizing rest through sleep labs before pushing injections, integrating holistic approaches. Fewer people falling for unproven peptide fads or risky stem cell tourism that can lead to complications. More communities built around restful living, inspired by those blue zones where social norms support downtime. Longevity isn't about cheating death with cutting-edge tech that's often inaccessible. It's about honoring life's natural rhythms, respecting the body's innate wisdom to heal and renew itself every night, and creating environments that support that. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a challenge, dear listeners, one that's simple yet profound. Next time you eye that peptide ad on your feed with its glossy promises, or consider booking a stem cell clinic after reading a glowing review, pause and ask yourself, did I sleep well last night? How about the night before? Reflect on your patterns, track them for a week, and see the difference. Because that's the cure, the starting point for true ageless living. Proper sleep. The silent elixir of longevity that's available to all of us. Thank you for tuning in to the Science of Ageless Living. If this episode resonated with you, hit that subscribe button, leave a review on your favorite platform. It helps us reach more seekers of vibrant health, and share it with someone who needs a good night's sleep. Maybe that stressed executive friend of yours, or a loved one burning the midnight oil. Until next time, rest well, live long, and remember, the best anti-aging treatment is already waiting for you under the covers. I'm Dr. Ethan Hausman Marquise. Good night.